Super League on a Friday, and it's the top of the shop tonight. St Helens, last year's league leaders, this year's league leaders with 5 wins from 5 against the reigning champions, the Bradford Bulls. And St Helens, they have the best defence in Super League right now, just 10 tries conceded, but their try return is 22, and that's bettered by Leeds with 30 and this Bradford Bulls team with 25. The Bulls also unbeaten, but it's 4 wins and a draw, and they travel defending an 18-match unbeaten run stretching back to last July. Saints will line up with Wellens at fullback, Gardner, Lyon, Tallow and Melly, Price facing his former club for the first time, and Sean Long. The forwards, Anderson, Cunningham, Kalis, Gilmore, Sculthorpe, who captains them from the second row, and Hooper. And on the bench, Wilkin, Roby, Graham and Farsavalu. The coach is Daniel Anderson. Bradford Bulls welcome back Michael Withers. Then they go by Harris, Harpy and Vinacolo. Yistin Harris is the captain and Paul Deacon the scrum half. Up front it's Fielden, Henderson, Lynch, McKenna, Johnson and Langley. And on the bench here, Vanganar, Jean, Carl Price and Adam Watini, who makes his Super League debut tonight for coach Brian Noble. So Yistin Harris, who was our guest on Boots and All on Wednesday, out he comes. Their last defeat was on the 10th of July, 34-44 at Wakefield, and that run of 18 games unbeaten includes 2 victories here. September in Super League's weekly rounds and in October in the playoffs. And with the Saints, Bradford Bulls have been the stars of the summer era. Wigan winning the first grand final in 1998, but since then, and Leeds in 2004, it's been the Saints and Bradford duopoly at Old Trafford. Well, St Helens were denied a place at Old Trafford last October by the Bulls. Bradford won here 23-18, and the Saints then became the first team to have topped the table not to make it to Old Trafford. So if they need any incentive to improve this year, that is it. And this match tonight does represent their biggest challenge so far. After blowing away Harlequins and Castleford, they beat Leeds, Warrington and Huddersfield last week, but all by diminishing margins. So this tonight is a very, very big test indeed. They avoided defeat here for 12 months in 2005, but then they lost their last 3 home games of the season to miss out on the title at Old Trafford. And it was the first time in 26 years that these supporters had seen them lose 3 in a row at home. All that's history now. It's all about the present. It's all about 2006. Ashley Klein is the referee in charge, the referee of the year in 2005. And Steve-O, it's one of those nights, this, that just sets the pulse racing.
Certainly does, Eddie. I am looking forward to it. I'm sure you people at home, you will witness a great game, that is for sure. It'll be rough in the forwards, as it always is when you've got the likes of Stuart Field and, of course, playing against the former Bradford prop forward, Paul Anderson. All across the park, there's some great battles. Hang on to your seats tonight.
Here we go. Long's kick-off into the arms of Withers. And Bradford drive the ball forward in the shape of Andy Lynch, who plays the ball to Withers. And this now is Jamie Langley, second tackle of the match. Ian Henderson. And he gets the ball away to Chris McKenna, who is halted on his own 40-metre line. Henderson scoots from dummy half. It's Lynch again to try and get the ball to halfway, which he does just about on tackle number 4. Here is Henderson. And he goes in centre field to find Deacon. Deacon, under pressure from Hooper, got the kick away, turns Wellens around, and Wellens will start the first St Helens attack of the night.
Great kick and chase there, but pretty good defence as well by St Helens. It had to be. Interesting to note how Bradford, they're coming down on their left-hand side. They're trying to pick out a little halfback, Sean Long, who he puts himself on the right-hand side in defence for St Helens.
Brian Noble, the Bradford coach, has not had the best weeks of preparation for this because of the awful weather. They didn't get out onto a proper field until midweek, and despite that, he says their preparation has gone according to plan. He says they're ready for the challenge at Nosey Road tonight.
Well, it has to be. Not many people, not many teams are successful here. And that's a poor kick right down the throat of Marcus Bai. They've got to improve in that department. It's one thing that Daniel Anderson has not been happy with, and that is the short kicking game from Saints.
Eddie, you've got three options when you play against the Bulls. You've got to kick it either to a winger or a fullback, and I guess when you look at Vinocola and Withers, Saints have come up with the option they're going to kick to Marcus Bai. He does come up with more mistakes than the other two names I've just mentioned, but if he gets the ball in hand, boy, he's difficult to stop.
Paul Johnson was the man who played the ball. Here is Andy Lynch, gets Bradford over the halfway line again. And Kalis is there, so too is Hooper. The ball, though, is stolen by Hooper. I think there was a hand in there, says referee Ashley Klein.
Well, you can see quite clearly that Hooper had the intention of making sure that Lynch was going to lose that ball. And for an experienced player as old as Jason Hooper, that is a silly penalty. Though I must say, Andy Lynch has played so well this year. He looks to me, Phil Clark, as though he wants the GB jumper.
Well, perhaps he's forcing Stuart Fielden to play even better, isn't he? He's perhaps been at times the standout prop. Here, first opportunity now for the Bulls to score. Eddie, we've said it before, when they get close to opponent's line, they are the best team in Super League at converting into points.
Well, they're very close here because they're just 12 metres away, and it's Deacon attacking the line. He finds Andy Lynch, the man, of course, who missed out on grand final glory with the Bulls last year. He was replaced by Adrian Morley, and that's probably incentive enough as far as he is concerned to improve this year. A short ball found Fielden, but the four St Helens defenders in turn found the prop forward, and they are 3 metres away, and Fielden a little groggy actually, but this now is Deacon, and Deacon gets it to Harris, who flicks the ball wide to Shontaine Harpy, and Harpy tries to go inside a couple. He's cut down on the last. They're 10 metres away. It's big Leslie Vinocola who shuttles the ball in field to Justin Harris. Deacon skips away. That's a great kick. And oh, it was wonderful fullback play from Wellens that came to the rescue for the Saints.
Beautiful play by both sides. Wellens as normal. Deacon just did the dink. Good weight as well, but you could see there that Withers was just sniffing away. It all came about by the silly penalty given away. This is where Fielden gets a bit of a knock. But to the rescue yet again for the red and white. Paul Wellens, absolutely super. Oh, that's a poor kick.
Well, the wind is in the St Helens faces in this first half, there's no doubt about that. And it's a stiff breeze as well. Henderson, 20 metres away, feeds the ball wide and finds Paul Johnson. Johnson will get to his feet and he'll play it to Henderson. Henderson to Stuart Fielden again, fully recovered. He's certainly got a bang in one of the tackles leading up to that near miss by Withers. Here now is Justin Harris. Oh, and it's off the chest of Chris McKenna and gobbled up again by the St Helens fullback.
Well, that's the risk you take when you use that very flat pass. You can see there that the St Helens defence was virtually into the face of McKenna, and they're all offside. They don't need any help here, do they, Ashley Klein? But the crowd here is certainly going to look at that pass there. They were virtually in his face. It was good work by Sean Long, and look at the offside there. Well, in about 6 to pick from.
All offside, and also a bit of a high shot on Eddie Gardner as well. Paul Cullen.
Great to see Bradford shifting and working that ball to the right-hand side. Their favourite play is off Justin Harris. He's the main go-to man. They'll set up play and come back, trying to make Jamie Lyon do a little bit of work in defence, but chances are going to come few and far between in this game. That was a glorious chance for Bradford to open up the scoring, and it just bounced off a chest, and the opportunity went missing.
Jason Kalis lost possession, and that's why Bradford are back in control of the football midway inside the St Helens half of the field. And this is Johnson now. He tries to go around Cunningham and also Willie Talau, but that's a near impossible job. Plays the ball to Ben Harris.
It was an awful mistake by Jason Kalis right on the very first tackle. Can't afford to give Bradford so much position.
Here is Deacon, who finds Justin Harris. Harris, the ball comes back. Good movement. Vinocola, Shontaine Harpy, great defence. Wonderful defence there. And it's Wellens again. Harris, Deacon, kick out wide. It's high, it hangs. Oh, it's dropped.
It's a try!
It's a try, I think. And is it? I'm just trying to work out. It's Ben Harris, I think, and the referee has given it, and Ben Harris has given Bradford the lead.
Shocking attempt by Francis Melly out there on the left wing. I cannot believe he had all the time in the world, put himself in a good position. He was in the in-goal area, and Ben Harris has taken full advantage of this. Beautiful high kick. Take nothing away from the kicker here. Harris was under pressure. Deacon was also, but got the height. No one within queuing. He was not under pressure there. Marcus Bai actually held off. This is careless losing the possession. And I mentioned earlier, you can't afford to give Bradford a chance like this. It's a shocker. There was no one near to him, and Harris takes the gift of the TRY. He's furious. He's every right to be.
Well, they were denied by a fantastic tackle by Paul Wellens over in this near corner, just short of the line. Kick on the last tackle. Well, what more can you say? At this level, Melly's got to catch it.
Yes, a big blunder in defence, and seized upon by Ben Harris, facing Willie Tallow tonight, the man he displaced at Canterbury in the NRL. And he has given the Bradford Bulls the perfect start. And can Paul Deacon add the extras? 4-0 Bradford, this kick to come. Wind at the back of Paul Deacon. And he has found the mark. So it's St Helens 0, Bradford Bulls 6. And the try scorer, Ben Harris, a try in a 32 points to 18 win here last September.
But you can see there's no one within cue. He had all the opportunity, eyes on the football, and then it just went straight through his arms. He brought his hands down. You've got to reach up, make sure that the elbows go underneath so that it cannot go through. Basic principles of rugby league. He fell down in that area and has paid the price.
Kick off straight into the arms of Leslie Vinacolo. Just wondering, Paul, whether you think perhaps this wind that Bradford have got at their backs, did that play any part in that kick hanging and dropping a bit awkwardly for Melly?
Well, it's a possibility, Ed, but there's great pressure from St Helens. Hooper, as always, flies out the line, puts pressure on the first passer and the kicker. But it may be, Ed, even a little bit too easy then for Francis Melly. He had all the time in the world, no real pressure, simply took his eye off it and come up with a major mistake.
And of course, had he collected the ball cleanly, he would have diffused the bomb in the in-goal area and all that would have gone. It's another penalty to Bradford. And Jamie Lyon protests to the referee, Ashley Klein.
Well, they've been rocking, aren't they, the St Helens? And it looks to me as though McKenna has that reefed away. No doubt about it. You can see the right arm spinning away. Quite obvious to everybody, apart from the home crowd here.
Well, exactly. Salford are giving Leeds a battle. By the looks of things, 0-0. Here it's 6-0 to the Bulls. It's the top four, of course, who are all in action tonight. We've got the top two in front of our cameras here, but third playing fourth at Headingley, and they're still waiting for the first points there. We've had the first try and goal from Bradford, and Justin Harris waits at dummy half. And here now is Paul Deacon. It's Andy Lynch.
Well, the Bulls will be happy with this. They're just playing basic football, utilising the forwards down the middle, and then just trying to grind away. That's something they've done all season.
Lovely run from Henderson. That's tackle number 4. Bradford full of it at the moment. It comes back to Justin Harris, and Harris goes wide and finds Withers. And Withers, he's missed by Kieran Cunningham, and he's still going. That's the last tackle for Bradford, and Ian Henderson scoots in at dummy half. Back it comes again to Deacon, and Deacon this time hoists the kick this way, looking for Leslie Vinacolo. A.D. Gardner got a hand to it.
Certainly
and it's touched by Gardner. It's a goal line drop out again.
Oh, I think he's been badly done to there. I think Leslie Vinacolo gets the major touch. I think he gets there first. Vinacolo is higher. Yeah, I think Vinacolo's touched that.
Eddie, whatever the decision, I think that's the best 10 minutes that Bradford have played since the World Club Challenge 6 weeks ago. Maybe they need to be challenged by a team who they think could embarrass them to get them at the best. But I tell you what, impressive start.
Very much so, Phil. The Bradford shape is excellent. may seem very obvious, but all 13 are making themselves available top end of the field. That's an awful lot of threats for the St Helens defence to think about and try and counter. Everyone from Bradford's been accountable.
I don't know whether you caught a close-up there of Paul Wellens, but he's got a right shiner. His left eye is almost closed.
Well, it was during the tackle way out on the right-hand side. Remember, it was a try-saver on Shontaine Harpy. And he went in very low.
Well, he's picked up a nasty bang. And here comes Chris McKenna. And now it's Leslie Vinacolo. Good tackle by Sculthorpe.
It's not tiddlywinks, this, Eddie.
Oh, definitely not. Deacon attacking the line, finds Harris. They're flooding forward at Bradford. And Harris!
Oh!
So close. Paul Johnson, dummy half. He'll go on his own, Johnson. And sheer weight of numbers forces the second row back. That's the last tackle. Henderson waits.
It'll be another kick to the corner, surely. Deacon standing. Oh, he's made a right meal of it. He said he's gone backwards. They stood around. Oh, he took the gamble, did Long.
He did. Well, Brian Noble looking quite pleased and Daniel Anderson looking a little concerned. I wonder what the atmosphere's like in the press box. Dave Hadfield.
Well, we're looking intently at some individual matchups tonight. Leo Price moved here to play standoff. He's up against Yestin Harris. Been all Yestin so far, I've got to say. There's also a head-to-head meeting in two cleverest centres of the ball in the Super League, Jamie Lyon and Shontaine Happy. And a lot of interest here in how Adam Watini is going to shape up in his first game for Bradford.
Thanks, Dave. He will be giving us the decision about the man of the match later on. It's Paul Sculthorpe for St Helens. They're over halfway for one of the few times in the opening 12 minutes of this match. It's on the last tackle, though, and it's Jamie Lyon. Here now is Sean Long, and a high-hanging kick, and it's a strong breeze up there. Withers claims it brilliantly.
Good refereeing there by Ashley Klein. There was about 5 or 6 St Helens players in front of Sean Long when he kicked that. He was screaming at the players to stay back, but a good take in the end.
Look how much possession Bradford have had in St Helens half of the field in the opening 12.5 minutes of this match.
It's such a basic ingredient that you know you can turn into a positive, you know you can come up with a win. Paul Cullen, if you're in their position, your confidence builds and the other opposition, it erodes.
Absolutely, you also got to attack the energy levels. This is a very, very good St Helens side who can counter from anywhere. But somewhere down the line, you run out of juice, and that's what Bradford attack at the moment, those energy levels.
That's a great kick from Paul Deacon under pressure from Hooper. He just found the right side of the corner flag from a Bradford Bulls point of view.
You're right, Eddie, there is a very strong wind. It didn't appear that when we arrived in the ground, but it seems to have just got up. That really was shifting that ball.
And it's a bitterly cold northeasterly as well. It is very chilly. Here is the man of steel, Jamie Lyon. A penalty to St Helens. They wouldn't let him get up and play the ball. And Jamie Langley is penalised. And Yestin Harris.
Well, he just had a little bit of a second go at him, but it's amazing. The fans underneath us are here.
And this is Hooper. He wasn't tackled, says the referee, and he makes great progress for St Helens. And a quick play of the ball. Talau to James Graham, back in the side after that 2-match suspension. Kieran Cunningham is plotting a dummy half.
Got to get the link going. That's where Long's coming through.
Sean Long finds Wellens. Wellens finds Sculthorpe. Big hit by Shontaine Harpy. Now then, it's Wellens again, taking them on. Spinning though into the tackle from Langley. And it's Cunningham who finds Long. Long attacking the line. James Graham again. Gets the ball away. It bounces. And Bradford have the ball back. Well, he tried to offload then in an almost impossible situation, the youngster. Now Marcus Bye for Bradford. Two tries from Bye in his debut in the World Club Challenge against West Tigers, start of the year.
Not the best option there by James Graham, but to be fair, if there had been someone coming on that second phase, perhaps they may have been able to pick up that ball. They look a little bit lethargic, Saints.
This is Chris McKenna.
They've been hit, Eddie, with a beautiful passage of play by Bradford. Safety first. They haven't come up with many errors.
And Deacon gets the kick away, and A.D. Gardner is there to cut out the danger. There was a possibility of a 40-20, but it actually was sailing out around about 25-30 metres away from the Saints line. This is Sculthorpe. Now it's Wellens, and he finds Jamie Lyon. Vinacolo went for the big heavy shoulder and missed him. Good job, Harpy was there. Wellens to Jason Kalis.
I think the message is being sent out by Daniel Anderson, the Saints coach. So listen, we don't want to take them up down the middle in the forwards. We know that the Bradford pack is very strong indeed. You can see there that Harris certainly didn't go by the 10, but it looked to me as though he was, Deacon, it looked to me as though he was a long second marker. There was only one man in front.
This is Sean Long, and it's a great opportunity this for St Helens. He finds Sculthorpe, who finds Lyon. Waiting for the pass out the back door then to Gardner, didn't come. Sculthorpe from dummy half. Graham, James Graham for St Helens. And Bradford managed to keep him out, but there are 3 tackles remaining, and that's how close the Saints are. It's with Sean Long, and a great ball to Kalis. Oh, wonderful tackle by Henderson.
Was it ever? Fielden got on the top of him, so did Withers. It had to be.
Cunningham, back to Long again. Gives it wide to Leon Price. And that's a great ball, good hands. Oh, wonderful try. And Francis Melly has made up for the error at the other end, and Bradford are going potty with the touch judge over there, I think. They believe there's a forward pass here. Michael Withers leads the dispute with the touch judge, while Francis Melly celebrates the try.
Well, we said that Anderson to get the message out, to swing it out wide, and watch the hands here. 3, 4, 5. That looked forward, didn't it? That last pass, very dubious indeed. Take nothing away with quick hands, but this one. Now then, momentum rule is coming to play. That's the reason why the touch judge and the official with the whistle has given this as a TRY. If it had been stopped straight away, it wouldn't have been given.
Well, the penalty it was that took them downfield, wasn't it? Wonderful skill at the end. 5 quick passes, as Steve-O points out. We'd have a doubt of the last one, but good teams score tries on the wing, and St Helens have just done that.
They have, courtesy of Francis Melly, the man who played under Daniel Anderson at the New Zealand Warriors in 2002 when they topped the NRL table. And here now is Jamie Lyon with his first conversion attempt of the night. And it's way out on the far touchline as Steve McNamara talks to the Bradford players behind the posts. Jamie Lyon with the kick. Just went the wrong side of the posts. Couldn't believe it, Jamie Lyon, could he? He looked at the touch judges. You're kidding.
Well, there you can see it. Now that's elbow to elbow. But watch how he moves across Willie Tallow. And I think that's the reason why the touch judges said he's got that momentum rule. Sometimes you love it, other times you hate it. Depends who you support.
Well, I don't know whether it's the momentum rule, Mike, or just a misjudge from the touch judge. You know, that looked clearly forward, and I didn't think he had his eye on it.
Wellens has to be brave, and it bounced off his shins, and all the Bradford players were hurtling towards it. Wellens managed to retain possession for Saints from the kickoff, but boy, at some price, he's still not properly back in the line.
Tremendous.
This is Graham.
That was tremendous work by Wellens there. Talking about putting your body on the line.
Sculthorpe on the charge for Saints. Withers and Harpy haul him down. Here is Kieran Cunningham. Good tackle by Harpy again.
First time we've seen a run from the hooker.
It's with Sean Long. Now Leon Price.
Ooh, that looked a bit dodgy as well. It delayed that, did Leon.
Jason Hooper held on to the pass. Lee Gilmore back to Long, who juggles away with it and stabs the ball into space. Withers this time is brave. Leon Price, he has yet to get off the mark. Try scoring wise in 2006. What would he give to score a try tonight? And what a tackle there from Cunningham.
He's warming up. He was a bit slow to get into this game. The first 10 minutes you hardly saw anything of him. Mainly I suppose due to the fact that Bradford had most of the field position. But you can never keep the St Helens side down. They've reduced some wonderful rugby league football in the last 5 or so minutes.
Eddie, for a few years people have been talking about Jamie Langley, saying what a good player he's going to be, go on and play for Great Britain. I think this season he's starting to prove those comments correct, really. Started this year very strong, dominant, and respect of a lot of his opponents.
Deacon's kick over the top will surely, oh no, I was going to say will surely scoot away. It would have done, but it hit the base of the post. Wellens picks it up then for Saints. The fullback takes it to the 10-metre line.
Well, Phil Clark made the comment in regards to Michael Withers. Paul Wellens not the fastest.
Oh, and it's a good job that
Good
Justin
offload.
Harris got the tackle in there. A.D. Gardner was away.
Just making that point again, and it's just the fact that, you know, the two fullbacks, as you say, they're not the quickest in the game, but they are the strongest, and their positional play is superb.
Cunningham's away. Looking for support, takes the tackle.
Trouble is, it was a referee that was supporting.
This is Long, back on the inside to James Graham. James Graham gets the ball away to Leon Price. And Bradford cut him down about 13, 14 metres away from their own line. Here is Cunningham again, and he finds Sean Long. And Long, oh, it bounces off the feet of Chris McKenna, and McKenna has it for Bradford, says the referee.
Not the best little kick through, but good work from McKenna. And now it's going to be an elusive St. Helens defence. Can they get back pretty quickly?
Big Leslie.
Both sides, Eddie. The work rate has been absolutely superb from the kicks. Both sides have made wonderful momentum upfield.
Mike, how good was that break then from Kieran Cunningham? Just saw half a gap and went, and he looked like a three-quarter breaking through that line. Bradford were greatly relieved. That kick from Sean Long went straight to their hands.
This is Langley. He finds Vinacolo standing, and Harpy standing as well, but makes good ground. Thought about the offload to Leslie Vinacolo, thought better of it. Henderson and Deacon will dab the ball over the top. Poor kick, and A.D. Gardner accepts the gift. Gives it then to Wellens.
Oh, I'm not so sure he did the right thing there. Wellens didn't expect it, but here he is, Mr. Elusive yet again.
Tremendous run.
I made the point that both sides are making those yards upfield. That's great stuff. Quick play the ball, that's what they need. Bradford are getting away with it. They're holding the man down.
Gilmore and Talau, and the pass wide to Melly. Back in field it comes again. Salford leading at Headingley after 22 minutes of the first half. It's 6-4 here, Bradford. Long has it for St. Helens. Gives it to Sculthorpe, who in turn finds Lyon. Lyon out the side door to Gardner.
Well taken by the winger Gardner. Under a lot of pressure from Vinacolo. Oh,
And
that is a poor pass.
Knocks the ball forward.
There's been quite a few of those from St. Helens. It's one thing keeping the ball alive, but you've got to respect that position and look at Wellens' eye. It's nearly closed.
And that's why he's sitting on the bench just now.
Well, he suffered a similar injury, although perhaps a little worse in the grand final against Bradford a few years back, didn't he? Had to come off early on in that match. Not be able to continue at this stage. The doctor's just giving him some luck, but at the moment, Saints just look a far quicker side than Bradford. And I don't know whether it's missed tackles, Paul, or plays in the wrong place, but Bradford at times have been hanging on for the last few minutes.
Maybe it's the quality of the kick, Phil, at the back end of those sets. We saw then Mike mention that Paul Wellens didn't expect that ball on that kick. I'll tell you something, neither did the Bradford three-quarters. It was a poor kick to no one and a complete waste of the set going forward. The Bradford forwards had worked very, very hard to go from one end of the field to the other and gave it away for nothing at the other end.
Great tackle by Gardner on Leslie Vinacolo. Here is Shantane Harpy. Now it's with Jamie Langley again, taking on another of the young guns in the British game. That's James Graham. Plays the ball to Ian Henderson. Henderson to Deacon. Angled kick from Deacon. Gobbled up by Jason Kalis. And Kalis gets away, but only as far as Ian Henderson.
Well, Daniel Anderson, the Saints coach, will be happy with that. Was Kalis thinking on his feet, or was he just having a rest on the blind side? Neat little kick, though, by Deacon. Both sides are trying everything, trying different angles, they're running the angles, but it's a short pass that's creating problems both sides.
Long. Good tackle by Fielden, and Fielden is penalised for lying on, turning the man on the ground, trying to stop the St. Helens momentum.
Well, to be fair, Bradford have been doing this quite a lot. It completed the tackle. I'm not so sure that Sean Long did the right thing, pointed to the brain box, whilst he was looking at Ashley Klein.
They're taking it short, the Saints. This is Graham again. Couldn't get the hands away. That was Cunningham.
Probably take one more drive, then do the link.
Here's Cunningham again. Finds Long. Fielden was there, and so too Ben Harris.
Sculthorpe, Paul is screaming for it.
It's gone to Hooper. Hooper gets the ball back inside to Kalis again. And the big New Zealand prop forward goes for the line. And he's dragged down by Stuart Fielden. Kieran Cunningham. Cunningham will stab the ball into the in-goal area, and it bounces dead.
Well, he can't believe it, the hooker Cunningham.
He apologises to his teammates.
Well, he was trying to get it into all that heavy traffic, when the nearest man to it was yet again Ashley Klein. I think he's following Kieran around today.
Marcus Bai for Bradford. 25.5 minutes gone. 6-4 the Bulls lead, and St Helens coming back into the game in terms of territory and on the scoreboard as well.
This is going to get a bit spicy, because every time Joe Vangenaar takes the ball up, he's lifting the elbow. They're not happy with it, St Helens.
Shantaine Harpy. And Carl Price comes on. He will be facing his brother in the Super League tonight for the first time. There's Ian Henderson. Henderson finds Justin Harris, and it's off the knee of Harris. And there is big Carl Price. It's a knock on. The referee says it wasn't a kick, so it's the turnover.
Well, there was no advantage to St Helens, that's the reason why. Did well there. Price put his money on the line.
I know he's just moved to fullback, Leon Price, and that perhaps maybe explains, but I've never seen him quieter this season in the 26 minutes. Playing against his former club, whether it's a conscious effort to just try and wait for his chances, but really has been quiet here by his own standards this season.
Just looking at the quality of the work at the top end of the field, very, very important when you have sides like St Helens and Bradford who can go forward. Bradford on their power game, St Helens with that pace around the ruck, the offloading collision. When they get to the top end of the field, the kicking game from both sides tonight has been very, very poor. That's why it's been not going to make the play.
This is Maury Fastavallou. He nearly lost the ball, and Bradford nearly lost him a couple of times.
Great run, fantastic run.
And Saints have got the penalty for a head high.
He allowed the advantage. Good refereeing by Klein. He knew he was offside, and he knew it was a high shot. And fair credit, Fastavallou. He said, I'm going on with this.
Well, he was one of the best last week at Huddersfield in a tough game. Came on with that determined and dynamic approach and really made a difference in the game at the Galfam Stadium, and wants to do that again here now.
St Helens 5-2 in the penalty count. This is Jamie Lyon. Here is Fastavallou again. And this time Bradford muscle up in numbers and bring him down. But they're right underneath the sticks.
Cunningham special on his own.
No, he thought about it, gave it to Long. It's opened up for Long, though, and Sean Long is over for the St Helens try. Sean Long for St Helens. He missed the game at Huddersfield last week, injured against Wigan at the back end of last year. Boy, how did St Helens, and who knows, Great Britain miss him in the Tri-Nations and the playoffs. But he has come up with the try that gives the Saints a 2-point advantage with the kick to come.
This was a run, and then they got the penalty from Fastavallou. But watch out Cunningham when he runs on the angle, and so does Long. Excellent stuff. A lot of the Bradford players were looking at the fact that Sculthorpe had come as a dummy runner. There you see them, they're all in place, but he takes full advantage.
Well, through the penalty again. You see on that last tackle, kick to touch, 2 to the post, gives them an option either to the left or the right. They come to the right, and with players running in motion, too many decoys for Bradford to handle, and the pace with which St Helens have on the middle of the field, just a difference between these two teams at the moment, Eddie.
Well, he got 180 points last year, Sean Long, and he has won grand finals against Bradford, a goal that was crucial in 1999, the drop goal in 2002, but now the goal-kicking responsibilities here are in the hands of Jamie Lyon, and that's the reason why it's St Helens 10, Bradford Bulls 6.
Great work. Cunningham run the angle. Can you see how the dummy runner was utilised? Paul Sculthorpe went through, took out 2 defenders. It left the gap. It won't take long for Long to get the TRY.
Let's go down to Bill on the sideline. Injury news.
Eddie, all sorts of problems. There's Paul Wellens, who's got that eye injury. In fact, he's also got more problems for the Bulls, because they have lost Paul Johnson, and it looks like Iestyn Harris in quick succession. That out on the fall from Paul Deacon. Johnson is on the sidelines with a thigh injury. Now Harris has just come off holding, or rather his left arm hanging loose. Now whether he's picked up a knock as well, I'll try and find out, but certainly just at the moment, there he is. Well, it's the right arm actually. Wouldn't have made a good doctor, but the problems just at the moment are mounting for the Bulls.
And Iestyn Harris has not missed a game for Bradford since he returned from rugby union, but he is missing at the moment, and Bradford conceding penalties, and every time they've conceded a penalty, it seems to me St Helens have come up with a try.
Well, you take your opportunities, no doubt about it. Henderson came in under the flop. Split second, doesn't matter, and well, it's hard times for Brian Noble. They're giving away silly penalties. They're allowing St Helens to get in that attacking red zone.
And it's 7-2, the penalty count in St Helens' favour. Here is Murray Fasavalou. That's the second tackle. Referee shouting for movement from the Bradford defenders all the time. Cunningham attacking the line. Big hit by Vanganar, but he still gets the ball away to Long, who finds Wilkin, and Wilkin goes back up the middle.
Now Will Saint choose that dummy runner yet again. It was effective when Long scored that second try for Saints.
Here's Leon Price. Leon Price,
he's
in. Has he got it down? That's what the referee will ask the video referee, Steve Presley, to check. But has Leon Price opened his account in 2006 against the side that sold him during the winter?
No doubt in my mind.
But he's short there.
Momentum will do it. And again, Bradford, if he's moving all the time, he's okay. That's fine. There's no second movement as far as I'm concerned. This will be given. And Bradford have paid that penalty for giving away yet another penalty.
3 tries, 3 penalties. If Steve Presley agrees, and he does, it's a sweet moment for Leon Price. He never started at standoff for the Bulls last year, yet to score this season until that moment. And Leon Price has stretched the St Helens lead, and there's a little mini crisis for Bradford. Players off the field injured, and they are now behind on the scoreboard.
Well, they were caught on that blind side. See how they jumped up very quickly indeed, and he took full advantage. If you're going to move out of the line, you've got to make sure that your sliding defence is good, and it just wasn't. They tried their damnedest. Langley went low.
Well, they've shown that they can score the ball by passing it across the wing. They can also score by picking it up and diving over from close range. They're thinking and moving and reacting quicker than Bradford at present, and it's the reason why this game is flowing their way.
Leon Price, 10 Great Britain caps, 4 England caps. Sent off against St Helens last June at Odsal, as Saints won by 66 points to 4. Well, Jamie Lyons kicking okay, and they lead here by 16 points to 6.
If you move up on the left-hand side, you'll see that. But look at the 2 in the circle. They're not working hard enough. Look, they've gone. It's too late.
Well, Bradford supporters are a little unhappy. And there's another kick-off here that sails out on the full. That's the second in succession from Paul Deacon. We've mentioned this strong wind that is at the Bradford backs, and Deacon hasn't quite got the measure of it yet.
Well, that is unbelievable.
2 in a row.
For 15 minutes, there was only one side in it, and that was the Bulls. Total control, and they have allowed St Helens to get back in Paul Cullen through those silly penalties, holding down. You can't afford them.
You're right, Mike, on the back of what has been a very poor kicking game from Bradford, top end of the field. They failed to turn St Helens round, failed to keep him in goal sufficiently. More penalties now being given away from the Bulls. You have to do some work against St Helens at the top end of the field. Poor kicking game, and then panic in defence.
But surely, Paul, that's about 5 on the trot. This referee's got to say, hey, bring your captain. Next one, get in the bin. Even more problem for the Bulls.
Well, but 2 of those penalties, Steve, were for the technical offence, and that is kicking out on the full. So it might be not as bad as you're making out.
No, there's been 5 laying on penalties in additional to that.
Here is Sean Long. Flick ball to Kieran Cunningham. Saints looking full of it at the moment. It's with Sculthorpe, it's with Jamie Lyon. Now it's Aidy Gardner. Good job that Carl Price was there. And Lyon at dummy half. Finds Wilkin. Finds Long. Long flicks the ball infield to Mauri Fasavalu. He's coming of age, this fellow, isn't he?
Unbelievable running. So upper body strength. So
Cunningham. Cunningham shrugs one challenge off, gets the ball to Fasavalu, and they had to work overtime to pull him down again. Cunningham, a metre short. A special no, Long dabs to the in-goal area, and it beats everybody. Marcus Bai took the gamble then.
Certainly did.
Came up trumps.
He was cool, Eddie, wasn't he? Great little kick from Long.
Oh, he played it too, Marcus, but it didn't hit him. Didn't get a foot to it.
I think he just realised at the last moment. It's vital now, and this guy slowly but surely is coming back into the game, Sean Long. It really is a point now where Bradford realise they've got to make sure that Saints don't score again. They've got to try to go in at half-time with a little bit of confidence.
You know, when we've had Paul Cousins, I guess before we spoke about this, the speed of the line that St Helens move up there, look, immediately it's hard work for Carl Price to make any ground and get over the advantage line, because how quickly and how hard Saints work to close down their opponents.
Can't really believe that some St Helens supporters don't like the way Saints are playing this season, can you?
Well, they said they haven't been scoring enough tries. They're third on the try-scoring chart after 5 rounds. You know, what a big difference. Pressure by Hooper on Deacon. The referee says play on, and here's Price.
This is Leon Price running from deep. It was a late challenge here by Hooper.
Top shot has gone on.
Well, that's a really late one.
I think you might complain about the player telling him his job.
I think that the touch judge has been told by the 4th official somehow.
Excuse me. Back away, no. Paul, back away. It's Jason Hooper. Definitely out late.
Jason Hooper looks like he's going to spend 10 minutes in the sin bin.
But why didn't he run on straight away?
Would have been late challenge.
I think he was committed.
Committed to what, Mike? Knocking the man over after he's kicked the ball.
Yeah, but I think he's launched himself already. It's only a split second, and that's in slow motion.
Mike, if you want to challenge for the ball, then you go with your arms up and you look to make contact with the ball. Jason Hooper doesn't. He looks to hit the kicker after he's gone.
Tell you what, Paul Deacon is brave, isn't he? Remember what happened to him in the Tri-Nations. And also, think what happened to Adrian Morley in Australia just last weekend. Not as similar as that, but it was an innocuous-looking challenge from Morley. He's got a 2-match ban. We've now got Hooper in the sin bin for St Helens. Here is Stanley Jean, who floats the ball up to McKenna.
They've got to try something different now, Bradford. They've got to get on that scoreboard.
It's Stanley Jean. It's Paul Deacon. And this is Shontaine Harpy. Harpy with wonderful strength. Fantastic strength from Shontaine Harpy. And it seems every time Ashley Klein blows for a penalty tonight, the opposition team who get the penalty come up with a try.
When you talk about courage, the man who you say got flattened by Hooper, right, was unbelievable in setting up that try. The inside pass, and he was running on the angle, and Harpy, this is it, okay? Now, a lot of players in other sports that have been rolling around as though they've been shot by 13 elephant guns, and look how he's involved in the inside pass. That is great rugby league football. It is pretty to watch. It's been a great game. Don't miss the second half. There's more to come. Wonderful stuff.
Shontaine Harpy with the try. His 80th appearance this for the Bulls.
Well, the ball comes across, Eddie. They fake as though they're going to go wide to the left wing, and then the angle run by Harpy in these conditions with his pace and strength. Too much for Saints to stop. And as that happens, Deacon, recovering from the challenge, puts the kick over. 2 more points to the Bradford Bulls.
Yes, just confirmation of that. Here is Deacon, just getting himself sorted for the kick, and adds the extras for Bradford. It's 16 points to 12, and what a second half we have got in prospect here. Bradford rocking a bit, players off injured. Paul Welland's off with a black eye for St Helens, a black eye at least. Now down to 12 men. Hooper in the sin bin.
Well, they're down to 12 men, perhaps because they've got a problem with the way they challenge kickers. They've already had a man suspended for 2 matches this season, James Graham on a Rob Burrow challenge. I know there were incidents in the match when they played at Warrington, and again here, they seem to continue with that strategy of hitting the kicker after he's kicked the ball.
I completely agree with you, Mike, at one point that Hooper was committed to that.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, but he was committed to making contact with the man after the ball has gone. If you want to hit the ball, you go with your arms out and look to charge it down. He doesn't do that.
This is Adam Wattini for Bradford, who is on and making his debut in the Super League. Helped Castleford to get promotion last year, and then came to Bradford to further his career at Odsal. And there is Deacon again, and the kick will turn Leon Price around, and Price will have to run it back, and does so as far as Stanley G.
Tremendous try that, you know, by Harpy, created by Deacon. And this is one thing that Bradford really needed. They were losing control, they were giving away silly penalties, and there was a lot of talking amongst themselves, not trying to lift themselves, but arguing with each other. They will go in a lot more confident now. Only 4 points away. What a game.
Well, only 4 points away at the moment, but there's still 30 seconds to go, and you know what St Helens can do in half a minute of any match. Here is Cunningham, and here he goes. He's going to offload, he does to Long. Long gives it width and finds Sculthorpe. Sculthorpe has got a hand in the face of Carl Price, but has to take the tackle in the end. 15 seconds remaining in this first half, and it's with Sean Long, who just drills the ball into touch. He will settle for 16-12 here, and just at half-time at Headingley, Salford ahead by 4 points to 0. Hooper in the bin here. It's half-time. It's half-time at Knowsley Road, and St Helens lead by 16 points to 12, but they have a man in the sin bin. It was going swimmingly for Brian Noble and Bradford. They led 6-0, and that lead lasted till the 18th minute. Then 3 penalties resulted in 3 tries for the Saints. Leon Price off the mark against his former club. It's 16-12 to the league leaders. League to come over this weekend. The live Super League match for the Saturday night is Warrington Wolves against the Catalan Dragons. It's a 5:45 start on Sky Sports 1. We'll see Catalan away from home for the first time here on Sky Sports. And the NRL continues. It's the second weekend. North Queensland Cowboys taking on Manly Sea Eagles in the morning live at 10:30 on Sky Sports Extra. And then on Sunday it's St George Illawarra Dragons against the Penrith Panthers. Same time, 10:30 on the same channel, Sky Sports Extra. We'll also have all the other tries scored over the weekend. Half-time here at Knowsley Road. A battle royal is underway, and St Helens ahead by 16 points to 12. Well, St Helens will start the second half with 12 men on the field. Jason Hooper in the sin bin. Maybe a slightly contentious decision by referee Ashley Klein. Touch judge appeared to be coming on the field very late, but what we're getting told is that Ashley Klein actually said to his touch judge, "I can't hear you on the walkie-talkie, come on the field." And that's why he waited so long. But he got on, he made his report, and Jason Hooper in the sin bin. It started brilliantly for Bradford. They were ahead after 18 minutes, 6-0, but then 3 cheap penalties. Saints piggyback down the field, and they scored 3 quick tries. Let's find out what's happening at Headingley. Half-time there. The Leeds Rhinos against the Salford City Reds, 3rd against 4th in the Super League table. Here's the half-time situation, and Leeds, well, they were 4-0 down after, well, 39 minutes, and they've scored right on the bell. Leeds 6, Salford 4, but the Salford bubble is not bursting. They're in the top 4, and they're there on merit. They battered Wakefield last week on Saturday on Sky Sports, and they're putting a great show up so far against the Leeds Rhinos at Headingley. Talking of great shows, what about this here at Knowsley Road? We're enjoying it, we're loving every minute of it. We're not involved in the thick of the action though, and boy, there's been some action, Paul, plenty to talk about.
Very much so, and very committed effort from both sides. Slightly disappointed with the quality of the kick game at the top end of the field. And you know, you've got to be very, very good, because either side can produce a play that goes from one end of the field to the other. Well, that's not to take away from the commitment and the effort and the impact that both sides are throwing at each other.
Bradford have got to be careful with these penalties. They commit a penalty, give Saints the possession, bang, Saints score.
Saints' speed at the ruck, when you're on the back foot, is frightening. Cunningham is the best in the world at it, bar none. He simply jumps upstream. Not only does he have pace, he has power and strength as well. And I mean, quite unusually tonight, I saw Kieran Cunningham bounce out of tackle, but it's only because he ran straight into Joe Vagana. But you know, they are very, very good in that position, and you can't afford, like Bradford did early on in that first half, give him a lot of cheap ball because the kick wasn't good enough at the top end of the field.
Paul's talking about the kicks. I think we've got to give special mention to Paul Deacon. He was involved in the challenge that has meant that Jason Hooper's in the sin bin, Phil, but then he was at the heart of the second Bradford try. And you know, when you think what happened to him in the Tri-Nations last year, where he had a terrible facial injury, how brave are these players who play in Super League?
I think what we're going to realise is that players are on autopilot. They just go out there and they play bravely. Whatever happens, they get up as quickly as they can because they don't want to show their opponents that they're hurt in any way. There's no lying down to feign injury at all in this sport, and he got up quickly and knew he had to get back involved and get his team back on the scoreboard, because I thought that try for Bradford really helped them to get back into it. With the penalty count going against them, it was perhaps understandable why they were so far behind, but as soon as they got back in it, then just getting back on.
Wind at the backs of Saints in the second half, and we've seen how advantageous it's been to Bradford at times, but also how troublesome from the kick-off, Steve-O.
Yeah, it is a big problem for them. I'm sure that Brian Noble will be very, very happy with the first 20 minutes. They controlled everything, didn't they? And it was St. Helens that was making the mistake. There you see Kalis, he loses the ball, puts them in a very good position. Good pressure, but Deacon gets the ball away here. High kick, and Melly really should have got that. There was no pressure from Bai, and it was a gift for Ben Harris. But they weren't going to be outdone, were they? We said that they'd get the message to keep the ball alive. Bit dubious the last one. They said it was the momentum rule. Melly gets in, and Saints really did take control here. Fasavalu with the break put them in a pretty good position. There was a high shot there, one of the many penalties that Bradford have given away. And from this, look how he runs the angle. Sean Long loved it. It was a quick play the ball by Cunningham, and they were in total control of this. They got the flop. Henderson didn't have to do it. There again, giving St. Helens a good position. Leon Price, poor defence. He took full advantage. He would have enjoyed that. And then the late tackle. He committed himself. Okay, you could see he utilised his shoulder. Did he lift the arm? Maybe that convinced it. He got the 10 minutes in the sin bin. Bradford needed something special, and this was it. Deacon, the man involved, got knocked down, inside pass, and Harpy in for a tremendous try. A tremendous 40 minutes. If we get anything like that in the second stanza, we are in for a great treat. Little wonder that people are saying that these are the two best teams in Super League. I can't doubt them.
Look at the table, nobody can. They're first and second in the table. St. Helens 100%. Bradford just behind them, unbeaten as well. Something's got to give tonight. Wonder if someone will come up with a man of the match performance to win the Gillette Sports Pack in the second half. We shall see. Still to come tonight, boxing. It's Friday fight night as Kevin Anderson takes on Craig Dixon for the Commonwealth welterweight title. It's at 10 o'clock here on Sky Sports 1. Players have emerged for the start of the second half. St. Helens ahead by 16 points to 12. Now, Brian Noble, the Bradford coach, he's got a 4-1 winning ratio in the coaching battle with his opposite number, Daniel Anderson. He won 2 of the 3 in Super League last year, and he beat Daniel Anderson's New Zealand twice in the Tri-Series of 2004. But at the moment, it is Daniel Anderson's St. Helens who lead the Bradford Bulls, and on course to maintain their 100% start to the season. Deacon restarts, the ball bounces a little untidily in front of Leon Price, and he gives it to Mauri Pasavalu.
Be interesting to see whether St. Helens utilise this strong wind, which is to their advantage in this second half. See whether they'll go early.
I must say, Steve-O, as James Graham gets to his feet, he was brought on very early by Daniel Anderson, and he certainly has jogged the St Helens along a bit, hasn't he?
Well, he's a hard worker, and Anderson realises that he wants someone out there to roll up his sleeves and get to it. Look, I mean, look, he's a big boy. Look at the arms, fireman's arms, butcher's arms. They're big and they're strong.
Mistake, though, by St Helens as they were trying to get the ball away from their own line. It's with Bradford now, and this is Deacon. A looping pass finds Stanley Jean, and he gives it to Chris McKenna, and McKenna was looking to offload as well. Stanley claps his hands behind the play the ball, said, let's get on with it. He then finds Michael Withers, and Withers takes tackle number 4 for Bradford. They're 15 metres away from the line. Jean again, stepping, gets as far as Cunningham, and he's a strong man, is Stanley Jean, the Papua New Guinea international. This is the last tackle. Ian Henderson, he finds Deacon, and Deacon will hoist the kick. He's looking for the big men out there.
Oh, that could have gone anywhere there. Jamie Lyon just said, oh, it's popped up to me. Thank you very much indeed. It's on the last. Bring him out on the 10. Looked a bit confused there. Perhaps he thought the referee had got it wrong. He hadn't. Got it right.
Little turnover then, and St Helens will try and work the ball downfield. Let's go down to the side. Bill is with one of the outstanding Bradford youngsters missing tonight. It's Matt Cook.
Matt, given the way things went off the rails during that first half, to be only 4 points adrift isn't bad from the Bulls' point of view.
No, it's looking really good for us. I mean, we did well to hang on towards the end of that first half and get back into control like we did in the first 10 minutes. We were looking good in the first 10 minutes, and we just got to try and get that control back again. With Jono going off and stuff, you know, we've had quite a few subs, and they've got settled in now, and just got to go strong again and get going again.
That's the worry. You've got Yestin Harris and Paul Johnson, as you say, sitting just behind us. It'll be interesting to see whether they can come back.
Yeah, I mean, not too sure about Jono at the moment, but Yestin looks fine. I think, you know, he'll be ready to roll on just to get the legs of it relaxed and get some energy back.
Thanks, Matt.
This is a glorious opportunity for St Helens. It was a high kick from Sean Long. It was spilt by Leslie Binacolo, and you can't give St Helens territory like that. This is Maori Fasavalou. 5 metres away from the line here with Jamie Lyon. Back he comes to Long again, and Long, the poor ball. It bounced right in front of Lee Gilmore, but it's collected by Willie Talau. But they've lost a little momentum there, and it's Francis Melly at dummy half. And Melly, oh, he's a strong boy. Important tackle. Here's Talau, finds Long, he'll come back this way. Wilkin spins away from 1, spins away from 2. Maori Fasavalou. Fasavalou taking them on his own. Last tackle from Bradford. Cunningham waits at dummy half. Cunningham finds Sculthorpe. Sculthorpe unloads to Sean Long, still on the last. Long looks to hoist the kick and does. Another tester for Leslie. He's missed it. He has missed it, and it's a try, is it?
I think it is.
I think this is going to be a try for St Helens.
He's knocked it straight into his arm.
Is it A.D. Gardner? Is it Jamie Lyon's got the football?
Jamie Lyon scored. Gardner's gone up to it, and I think he's missed it. It comes off Carl Price, and Carl Price has said, we'll give you an Easter present well before we get to the festivities.
Well, you can't penalise Gardner, can you? He's clearly challenging for the ball there.
Yeah, and he's looking at the ball, and that always makes sure the officials say he was trying to get to it.
And you're convinced that he doesn't touch the ball, Steve-O, here?
I think he misses it. That's what they're looking for now. They'll slow it down. He misses it.
Or does it went backwards anyway?
Does it veer away? That's what they'll look for. Why on earth Carl Price didn't snap that up quick enough? It's easy to say it, isn't it?
Dropped straight into Gardner's arms on the deck.
Gardner said this is the easiest 4 points I will ever score, and I think this is going to be given. They'll look to see, is it TRY? I think it is.
Steve Presley says it is, and that's a soft try that Bradford have conceded. And A.D. Gardner tries in 4 of the first 5 rounds of Super League, and that's try number 5. And Bradford are not happy that they've conceded such a soft 4 points.
Well, it's amazing, isn't it? The first try that came to Bradford in that first half was a gift to Ben Harris. After it was that the winger Malley made a real meal of it. It's exactly the same corner, only on this occasion. Well, I can't believe that. Not the best attempt. by Vainikolo. Remember, he lost possession a bit earlier. It's a gift.
Again, the fifth tackle try. They've worked their way upfield. Look at that. The length of the field in such quick time for St Helens, and they've punished their opponents with an accurate kick in the corner. Yet again, Gardner gets his reward for getting up and challenging for the ball, getting on top of Vainikolo. And well, he might have been lying down on the job, but it paid off this time.
And Lyon has added the extras for St Helens, and the gift gives them a 10-point advantage right at the start of this second half.
You're absolutely right, Phil. That's all credit to Aidy Gardner. He got off the floor, he challenged, he made the most of that. We've seen wingers put the ball down tonight a number of times from bombs. Francis Melly, Leslie Vainikolo, even the best in the world can do it. If you get off the floor and challenge, you've got a better chance.
It's amazing though, isn't it, Paul, that, you know, the tactics, they tried to keep it away from Vainikolo in that first half, which they did. Now they've pinpointed him as perhaps a weakness, and it's paid off.
Well, it's about the quality of the kick game and the pressure put on at the top end of the field. We've seen some poor plays, to be fair, from both sides early in the first half. You put the ball up in these conditions, it's cold, it moves, the hands are not quite where they used to be in Summer and Super League, and the ball hits the floor. Those who put the more pressure on, those who get the most bodies in the frame,
Leon Price, he's got Long in support, and Long goes over under the... Oh!
Now he lost it. He lost control of that.
And Bradford asked the referee to go to the video referee.
He dived before the line. I can't believe it. What on earth is he doing? He's lost it. That is no try. Why dive in front of the line? There is no one there. Hello? Is anybody listening? Obviously not. That is the biggest boo-boo I've seen for many a year. Why dive a yard from the line? Oh, dearie me. If I was a school teacher, I'd be looking for the cane.
Well, he'd be locked up.
I wouldn't say I'd use it.
No try. Knock on by Sean Long.
Wait! Ian!
Well, Phil, you often say things like that deserve tries.
Well, I think it's evidence, though, of Saints' ability to put a back-to-back try against one of the best teams in this country throughout the current World Cup champions. Fourth tackle from scoring, they can go the length of the field and do it again. I think there is Sean Long, he'll make up for that before the end of this match.
How good was the break, though, before Sean Long's put the dive in that spilt the ball? The bust from St Helens was absolutely sensational.
Is that because they're playing the ball quicker now, Paul? That ruck area that coaches talk about? Are St Helens just winning that at the moment?
Tactics. Big Joe Vangener's on the field, just about to go off with spell. Joe does get a little bit tired at the back end of his sets, and Saints picked it and exploited it.
Let's go down to the sideline, Bills, with more injury news.
Yeah, this could take the shine off St Helens' win if it goes on to be a win, because Paul Wellens is not going to reappear tonight after that eye injury. The cheekbone or whatever it is going to need an examination, and he will need an x-ray. He'll have to see a specialist early next week, apparently, and the concern is that there could be a cheekbone injury again for Paul Wellens.
Well, that's terrible news for St Helens. Paul Wellens, a nasty facial injury by the sound of things, and he got one, remember, in the grand final against Bradford a few years ago, as Phil was alluding to in the first half, and let's hope that lightning hasn't struck twice. Here is Gilmore for St Helens, and another break, almost a very important tackle that was by Shontaine Harpy. This is Sculthorpe, finds Long's crossfield kick, bounces in all sorts of problems, picked up by Marcus Pye. He gets away from Hooper, he can't get away from John Wilkin.
Good work by Hooper and Wilkin there, but a neat little kick into open space. That's so important. You know when the defence is solid. OK, they'll be a little bit irritated, coach and the team, at the way that Sean Long just dived because he wanted to get 6.4 marks on his mark for diving. It was ridiculous. And they can't afford now. If Bradford get a break, they could go on with this. Things like that turn the game.
This is, oh, what a hit. What a hit by Francis Melly on Michael Withers. And he still hasn't finished with him. Stanley Jean. Back it goes to Deacon. Deacon up the middle, but this is going to be easy for Leon Price. This is what he can do so dangerously. He can run from deep.
Release him!
He is a dangerous player, that is for sure. And I must say that in the second half, he's dug deep. He's gone looking for the football as well.
Salford ahead by 8 points to 6, 10 minutes into the second half, and the City Reds have missed 2 conversions in that match. This is Anderson.
Saints have made 2 significant changes in the last couple of minutes. James Roby's come on at hooker, freshen them up and speed around the ruck, and Paul Anderson's come on for a bit of impact.
This is Roby looping past to Sculthorpe. It was a great ball, and that finds Lyon, and Lyon has skipped through a few, and Lyon is brilliant. And a good job that Fielden got to it. This is Sean Long, and Long over the top, and he gets the ball. That could be a try for Gardner.
I don't think so. And he's gone into touch. This could be head and feed.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't gone into touch. Shontaine Harpy had his feet in the air and somehow stayed in the field of play. But what about... No, he was just short. It's a great decision by touch judge and referee.
It was a great kick into the corner there. But there was real problems for Bradford. When they made that break, when Jamie Lyon went through, someone took him away. There it is. There's not much in it. Half an inch perhaps.
I wonder whether that actually was on the line, but the referee and touch judge were absolutely convinced. Marcus Bai wasn't happy with Francis Melly there. This is Deacon again. That's a better kick. It will turn Leon Price around.
How good, Mike, was that play from Jamie Lyon? That was 3 on 3. He's 3 on 3, and he just stepped inside and opened up, mate. It looked like he was on a Lambretta. He just flew through the gap.
Well, I think he was on something a bit faster than that, but I have to agree with you. And this is the incident where he went very close, Gardner. But in the back play, Hooper has been held back, and he was screaming at the official.
Strength from Willie Tallow. He got away from Marcus Bai, but he couldn't get away from Stanley Jean. Here is big Paul Anderson, former Bradford Bull, won everything at Odsal in his time there.
This is bubbling up. They're getting too excited. The crowd's going absolutely bananas.
Long finds Leon Price again. They go wide to Sculthorpe. And a flick over the top from Jamie Lyon. Problems from Michael Withers. Oh, he does really well.
Twinkle toes. Talk about experience. Good position. He knew when to just step off the foot. Oh, great to watch.
And Leslie Vinocola gives it to Jamie Langley. Helens winning on all the major stats and where it matters on the scoreboard.
The biggest problem, if you look at the missed tackles from Bradford, they're well into double figures.
And it's where they've been playing on the field rather than the stats that are important. And as this game wears on, the fact that Bradford are inside their own quarter on the 5th tackle is the major problem. Not the tackles they're missing, it's where they're playing this game on the field. Saints receiving possession now on the 1st tackle inside the Bradford half. And it's time inside your opponent's half that usually goes on to determine the winner of a match.
Francis Melly was cool as a cucumber then. The ball was spinning around on the deck and he decided he wouldn't be tempted, wouldn't perhaps put in a little knock on. He'd allow the ball to run over the sideline and take the scrum.
I can't believe you've come out with something like that. We've all got gloves on, scarves on, cool as a cucumber. It's freezing out there. Of course it's cool as a cucumber.
People normally wear their scarves around their necks.
All right, I forgot.
Mr. Stevenson has forgotten his hat, so I've got old Mother Hubbard alongside me tonight.
Leave me alone, okay?
He's not well. The boy is not well. This is Leon Price.
The ball, leave it out, will you?
Wait, Jamie, wait.
Look at the state of him. That's what I've got to work with, ladies and gentlemen.
If it was good enough for Mother Hubbard, it's all right by me.
She had a cupboard. This is Roby.
It's important now that the Bulls really try to get their defence, because you feel that if Saints score here, it could be the ball game.
High kick from Long, and Marcus Bai takes it and does well to stay the right side of the goal line. Michael Withers.
Not only did he take it, Eddie, as soon as he got it, he went to ground and went underneath the would-be tacklers, so that there was no chance to drag him back in the in-goal area.
It's a real struggle for Bradford to get out of their own 20-metre zone, isn't it?
Watch him, down. Get down as quick as you can. That's good.
Here's Andy Lynch. Great defence from St Helens.
They move up so quickly out wide. They force him in the central channel. Look at it there. It's virtually nearly one-out football. That's a bad mistake. Melvin, was that a knock-on from Long?
It's the sheer pressure. No, first knock-on, he says.
Yeah.
That was the first.
Stanley Jean. The best pass. Brian Noble will be furious with that. He knows that they've got to get into a good position.
You notice a former St Helens legend sitting alongside Brian Noble, of course, Phil Vivers, who illuminated affairs here at Nosey Road for many a day. Very much in the opposition camp tonight, though, as Francis Melly takes it on again for St Helens, gets the ball away to John Wilkin.
This is a big advantage, you know, Phil Clark, over Bradford, is at St Helens. Their bench is very, very strong.
Well, they are making a difference, Andy. Here's Roby, just going to try and dive on that. Just seem quicker, don't they, around this middle area, and that's maybe the worrying part for Bradford. They're bigger guys. Are they quick enough for the footwork that Saints can put on them? The offloads as well have troubled Bradford. And I guess they'll be desperate to clamp that ball on their opponent.
This is Roby, comes back to Sean Long, and Long tries to skip his way to the line, make up for that error when he dived a yard in front of the try line, lost the ball over the line, no try. Roby, and Roby back, it comes to Leon Price, taken low down by Ian Henderson. Last tackle here for Saints. This is Gilmore, here is Long, and Long will dab the kick towards those posts, just too deep. I think he was aiming for the post. I'm convinced he was.
Without a doubt, they take a lot of time at training to do that. Remember, the padding is square, so it's a pretty large target. Now then, can the balls get into a very good position? It's not going to be easy. We mentioned earlier the fact that this St Helens defence coming very quickly from out wide.
So often it's been the attacking flair of Saints that makes the headlines. This year, it's this defence.
And also the fact that for the majority, St Helens are winning collision in defence. Bradford aren't getting that quick but play the ball in, and Bradford have looked to shift the ball across field from a very slow start, and Saints keep pushing up on it.
This is Andy Lynch. They're in St Helens territory for the first time in a while with Stanley Jean and an invitation for Marcus Bai to chase. And Melly, well, he wasn't taking any risks before, and he's not. Well, hang on, he's given Saints a penalty.
Said Marcus Bai offside in front of the kicker, not allowing him 10 metres, and that's a massive let-off. That is a major point of the game now. As you approach the hour mark, can't quite see in that shot. The touch judge and referee think that he was in front of Stanley Jean when he kicked the ball.
There can't have been much in it, Phil, and either way, that is a real let-off for St Helens. It's been a long time since Bradford have bossed the issue in the attacking zone. Interesting to see that Brian Noble is giving the responsibility of taking the kicking game to Stanley Jean. Something he's not noted for.
10-8 at Leeds, coming up to the hour mark there. Only 2 tries apiece. It's goal kicking that so far is winning it for the Rhinos, but aren't Salford doing well this year? Oh, hang on, here's a 40-20. Here's a 40-20 from Long, and that could change the course of this game.
We posed the question, didn't we, before the kick-off? Would it be St Helens utilising this very strong wind at their backs? And the answer and confirmation is yes. It's a wonderful rule.
And it's a fantastic kick from Long.
Smile.
He'd be livid. Daniel Anderson would be livid, but Sean Long will be livid with himself for tossing away that easy try underneath the post.
Well, he'll get ribbed forevermore. That will not be forgotten by his teammates.
I remember Martin Afire doing that in the Great Britain International many years ago. Let's have a look at this first of all, before we discuss that. This is Melly. Melly flips the ball back to Wilkin. Here is Jason Hooper. Leon Price chiming into the attack at every opportunity. Anderson now.
Hey, Stuart!
Still Saints. Long gets away. Changes the direction of the attack. It's a big test of this Bradford defence.
Will they build for the 1 point?
Cunningham looking for 4 and gets it.
Never mind the 1, Eddie. He's got the 4.
Kieran Cunningham, a Cunningham special. His 41st consecutive appearance. He last missed a match against the Bradford Wolves way back in September 2004. And as a result of the 40-20 from Long, he could just have sealed this match for the league leaders.
And that is why it is such a great rule. Put them in a position. Sean Long says, come on, let's just pile it out. And the man that knows the way to the line so easy. That was poor defence. Poor first and second markers, and in fact, it was virtually non-existent. They weren't aware, but Cunningham was. Yes! How many times have we seen it from this guy?
Well, after some wonderful skill, in the end it was simple route 1, wasn't it? Cunningham back on the field, rested by his coach, sent back on to make an impact and change the game, and he's certainly done that. I reckon you could trace this try back all the way though to the decision given by the referee to penalise Marcus Bai, perhaps a turning point in this match.
Well, he's smiling now, Daniel Anderson, and he'll be smiling even broader if Jamie Lyon pops this ball over the top of the crossbar, because this really will give St Helens some breathing space. No problem. 28 points to 12, Saints.
You've got off 2 markers. 1 marker against this guy. You've got to be kidding. Give us a 4. Once again, in absolute great form. And what a 40-20 from this guy.
Yes, he made a Horlicks of the try that was not given, and he has come up with a telling kick to produce the 4-pointer from Kieran Cunningham. This is Jason Kalis.
Well, the writing is definitely on the wall as regards Bradford are concerned, and Sean Long and their coach Daniel Anderson will be fully aware of the 40-20 that they've done, and they won't want to card it up all night just down the middle. They'll know that this strong wind is going to be a great advantage to them. They just play position now, and it's going to be difficult for Bradford.
This is Roby, last tackle just over the halfway line. Cunningham gives it to Long, another high kick which will drift forward on the wing. Marcus Bai, well, he just picked that out of the air.
It's amazing, isn't it, when they do it copybook style, they lift their arms and pull it in. And they pull it in, as you say, by the textbook, and yet he takes it on his fingertips as though it's no problem at all. No doubt about it, messing around with the winger.
Eddie, that's an indication of the conditions out there on the pitch. Saints did it in the first half, Bradford have just done it now. Usually when a team gets a penalty, they'll kick it to touch to try and gain some ground. But the conditions must mean that neither side want to kick it. That swirling in your face breeze, really, which you just don't know whether the ball's going to find touch or not.
Saints have done a fairly good job so far on big Leslie Vinacolo. Well done from Jean. He finds Henderson, who finds Lynch, and Lynch dumps the ball back to Deacon. They'll go down that left channel again with Langley. He finds Shontaine Harpy. Bradford aren't rolling over and dying, are they?
Oh, there's too much quality out there for them to do that.
Big Joe.
But they need a little bit of leadership out there.
Was it the end of last season when they scored 5 tries in the last 15 or 20 minutes here at Knowsley Road?
Yes, it was. Ooh, that bounces. And is flicked back. And Willie Talau clears up the danger for St Helens.
You can see Bradford a little bit slow there, but that's good defence. It's all right chasing the ball. Just ricocheted away. The second rower, Gilmore. But they were a little bit slow on that left-hand side, maybe. And it's not surprising that Bradford are finding it a bit heavy going out there.
Here's Paul Anderson. Once upon a time, one of the awesome foursome at Odsal. Cunningham. And they were waiting for him, and Melly had nowhere to go. Tackle number 4, just over halfway line now with Cunningham. Good ball to Wilkin. Important tackle by Fielding again. Here's Cunningham. Gives it to Long. Up it goes again. Difficult. Withers and by, and Withers takes control. Michael Withers launches the Bradford response. Good run.
That's the type of thing that they need just to lift their spirits. Quick play the ball. That's what's needed. In just one play the ball and nearly at the halfway line. That's what you want. That means that when you get to the last, you can apply the pressure. Maybe get another set of 6. Got to be into the in-goal area with a kick.
Stanley Jean finds Deacon, and he goes wide and misses 2 and gives it to big Carl Price. Hasn't been a price on price yet, has there?
In situations like this, last year Bradford was sometimes saved by James Peacock's presence really out there. This year's captain, Yestin Harris, isn't on the field at the moment, Eddie, so the question from a Bradford fan is, who out there is now going to wrestle my team back into this match?
Henderson with the kick, but not the best. And I think it was Long who got rid of the ball and was clattered afterwards.
That was a really good go forward from Bradford. They won virtually every collision to get from their own 20 all the way to the St Helens 20, and it was a shocking kick. You've got to reward your team at the top end of the field and give them a little bit more hope than simply kicking the ball straight to Sean Long.
This is Kalis. Doesn't he give them great authority, this New Zealand international up front? McKenna comes on. Is he the man to change the course of this game? There is Anderson.
I just have the impression, Eddie, that maybe Paul Deacon, there's something wrong with him, because the responsibility of kicking is once yet again to Stanley Jean.
Well, Stanley does that a lot, though, doesn't he? Takes it on himself.
Yeah, but it hasn't been good. We know the quality of Paul Deacon. Is there something wrong with his leg?
Well, here he is, Deacon. Big Leslie Vinacolo at dummy half. And now it's Langley, and the stats, Steve-O, tell us that Deacon has made 10 kicks tonight.
Not in the second half, he hasn't.
Fielden. The 40-metre line. He will play the ball just over it to Stanley Jean. Lynch. Andy Lynch. That's the last tackle. Now, they need a good kick here. And it's Stanley Jean again. And it's a poor kick again to Leon Price. The point's well made in the second half.
Well, surely Brian Norwood's, as I say, unless there is a real big problem with Deacon that he can't get his kicking boot working.
Or are they trying to protect him, Phil?
No, I think that Stanley Jean at times does make some of the kicks for the Bulls. The thing that Bradford are desperate now is to try and force a mistake here from St Helens, but St Helens have been so good in this match at denying the Bulls an opportunity to attack the line.
Oh, what a lovely run from Wilkin, and he's got Francis Melly with him, and Melly has got the pace to beat Marcus Bai. Wilkin created it, and Melly was the man in support, and Melly makes no mistake and touches down behind the post, and that's his second try of the match. He doubles his tally for the season. His try sealed the win against Leeds here last month, and that could just have sealed the win against Leeds' close rivals.
Super little dummy there from Wilkin, but soon as Melly gets his ball, he knows the Bai's there. Watch him go the other way. That is just outstanding rugby league football by this fella. This is the break from Wilkin, but watch. He knows the cover's coming and he offloads at the right moment. As soon as he sees him, boom, back on the inside. Marcus Bai was going towards the sticks. He was, but he was going on a longer route. He was going around Barnsley, and it was a beautiful break. Knows he's there, and then swerves away. And then he goes round under the sticks. Makes it easy for the conversion. That is St Helens at their best. The fans, before this kickoff, they were complaining they were not getting the skill factor that they've been used to. I am bending over now, putting my tongue out to you guys. This has been superb from the Saints. Give them a roar. They will when he adds the 2.
Lyon adds the extras, and Francis Melly, all 4 tries have come on this ground. And if he keeps that going, he will be a great favourite at Knowsley Road in 2006. Francis Melly, and he's just about clinched it, I think, for Saints now.
Well, you know, they kill the hopes and aspirations of their opponents by their ability to score long-range tries. They've got a fantastic blend in this squad of size and speed, and John Wilkin provides the speed for them at times. Wonderful, skillful player, and the way he delayed his run just to wait for the support alongside him shows you that they have got a complete side at the moment.
There's no doubt about the penalty. Second attempt, sheer frustration coming to it. Now, normally, Paul Cullen, 34-12. As a coach, would you say, right, we'll just play it out, fellas? But this is St. Helens we're talking about, isn't it?
Saints is going to keep pushing hard at Bradford. They are missing Iestyn Harris to the point where it's not funny. At the top end of the field, when it really matters, you've got to get some decent kicks in or some plays that you're going to score off. They are simply turning the ball over far too easily to a St. Helens side that the moment you give them the ball, the moment you give them a weak tackle like we've just seen from Stanley Jean and Carl Price, you give them a hole, they're going to pile through it.
That should have been a penalty.
They nearly lifted him, didn't they? This is Jamie Lyon. They've got the penalty now because Kieran Cunningham noticed that Stanley Jean was just loitering with intent, and he forced him to tackle him.
He sure was. You know, I would hate to play poker against Kieran Cunningham. He's a crafty, wily old little fella.
There's another lift of the legs. Chris McKenna disputes the decision.
Doesn't matter now. It's a penalty.
Well, the rules are quite clear.
Him into a dangerous position.
They go above horizontal, and it's a penalty.
Not only that, you can't put your arm on the inside leg. Simple.
Sean Long has just tried to kid the Bradford defence. He pointed at the post and he said, "I'm not taking a kick at goal, sir." Leeds stretched the lead at Headingley. This is Sculthorpe. Plays the ball. Cunningham scooted in. He wants another. He gets the ball away to Gardner. Gardner just held up short. Lyon. Back it comes to Sculthorpe. Here is Long again. Now it's with Leon Price. And it's with Lee Gilmore and Willie Talau.
Come on, Sean, give me the one.
Price again. Wilkin. Good ball, Sculthorpe. And now then, last tackle. And this is Long. And Lyon, quick hands. They're in again. They're in again with Eddie Gardner. Wonderful St. Helens. Second try for Gardner. Such quick hands. And Lyon at the heart of it again. And Gardner with the try.
Nothing short of superb. The quick hands from Jamie Lyon, an outstanding player last year, and he is carrying on in exactly the same vein. They weren't playing fancy enough football, so they said. They'll be watching the video of this.
You know, I think Eddie Gardner is probably the most intelligent winger in Super League. Here we see their ability again to go the length of the field, and that wonderful passing out in the corner. He's so intelligent that he recognised when Darren Albert left this club, he would swap wings at the end of last season, play outside Jamie Lyon. He thought that might be a better side of the field to play on.
Not a bad judge. Eddie Gardner, 28th consecutive appearance since last April. He got a couple of tries in that 66-4 win at Odsal last June as well. The Lyon 5 from 6 tonight. Here's a difficult conversion attempt. Is he up to it? Nearly. 38-12, and now it's comprehensive enough, I think.
Certainly is a man with tremendous balance, but look where his eyes are not looking at his own player, he's looking at the defender. Come and get me. And whilst he's doing that, he's offloading. Superb. I love it, Eddie.
Held his width very, very well, didn't they? Wingers have got to stay on the touchline. When the Bradford defence was sucked in, he didn't wander in field. He stayed where he should be. And if you're going to play as a winger, you want to play outside someone like Jamie Lyon because his hands and his vision are fantastic. The Bradford defence was flying up all over the place. The line would completely gone. One flew up, one hung back, and one went nowhere. And Gardner, as always, in the right position, doing the right thing there.
Well, my colleague is quite often singing the praises of people to be selected for Great Britain, Paul Cullen. What about this man Gardner? Wouldn't it be great if Mr. Lyon was English?
Well, it would be, but he's not. So we've got to go what we've got. Martin Gleeson's not a bad right centre himself, Sivo.
No, that's right. And Wilkin to Long to Talau. I don't think they're finished yet, St Helens. The way they're moving this ball about. Last tackle, though, on halfway. Gilmore and Wilkin. Oh, and it's inch perfect. He never lets them down, John Wilkin, does he? Never.
I keep getting back to that point, as I mentioned to Phil Clark earlier, is that this game is no longer 13 aside. It is 17, and you look at the impressive bench that Saints have. I'm not saying that Bradford haven't got the same, but the skill factor with weight and power. They've taken over from, remember, when Bradford, they were the big side. In the three quarters, just as big as the forwards. Look at St Helens, they can match anybody now.
Well, Billy Anderson was the 18th man. He was left out tonight. They do have great talent on the sidelines here. And David Hodgson apparently has missed 3 goals tonight for Salford, and it could be the difference between winning and losing at Headingley for the first time since 1977. Leeds are ahead, 14-12. They've got 5 minutes to go. We've got 5 to go here, and I think we can safely now find out who's won the Man of the Match award. Dave Hadfield will tell us who's won the Gillette Sports Pack. Dave?
We just think that Saints have adapted infinitely better than Bradford to playing without key players. They've had great value from the bench. Wilkin, Roby, Graham, Far-Savalu. No coincidence perhaps that they've all got honourable mentions up here. But the man we think has been really instrumental in it all. He's been inspirational, instrumental in so much that they've done. We think he's had his best game of the season so far. And man of the match tonight, Kieran Cunningham.
Well, the gentleman of the press will get no complaints from the chairman of the Hookers Union here.
No, he's a fine player, and he's a man that comes to the fore when you really need it. He knows when to run at the line, and he's not a greedy player. He knows how to share the work, and I think that has been a great advantage, Paul Cullen, about how Saints have shared the work tonight.
They have, and I think one of the major assets for St Helens is how good and quick they are on the first, second and third plays. Bradford just tend to warm themselves up. You know, the big men take a little bit of time to get back. By the third play, Saints are usually flying at you and getting you on the back foot, and that's been a major difference tonight.
How inventive was that little move down the right-hand side then? 3.5 minutes to go, match 1, confidence high obviously, but it's great to watch. There's Langley. He gets it away to Harpy. Must say the Harpy-Vinacolo combination down the left tonight. It has been snuffed out a bit by this magnificent St Helens defence. Here's Andy Lynch.
And also put that down to a lot of good defence, not only by Jamie Lyon, but by Sean Long, who works in defence out on that right-hand side.
Oh, brilliantly held there by Stanley Jean. He got it away to Stuart Fielden, who plays the ball to Stanley. Infield it comes to Leon Price. Carl Price, I beg your pardon. Oh, and he just pushed his brother out of the road. And he's got the penalty because the St Helens man was offside, and Leon Price is playing heck with the referee because Carl, his younger but bigger brother, has just nearly pushed him into the terracing behind the post. We need the ball to restart, gentlemen, and Ian Henderson will do that now. Here's Carl Price.
I think he just gave his brother a little bit of a workout.
He did, and not only that, he just gave him a little knee then as well.
Well, he should go to the sin bin. Simple as that. Professional foul, 2 minutes and out. He swung his arm first.
That was where Leon was pushed by Carl. Yeah, here's the tackle.
Watch him come here, give him a facial, and then I'll just put my knees in.
This is Leslie Vinacolo. St Helens desperate for them not to score. 2 minutes to go.
Leslie,
I wonder if they swap Christmas cards, those two.
Wait, go.
Or presents. Lynch.
Oh, great defence.
Managed to get the ball away somehow, smuggled it away to Henderson.
Henderson gets the penalty.
They get another penalty.
Surely Henderson was stood in front when that ball was squeezed out. Either way, the game is won. We know that.
Yeah, I haven't said he can go yet. Go.
But they'll scrap, will
I didn't
Saints.
say he could go.
This is Stanley Jean, and here is Stuart Fielden. Bump, down he goes. Man of the match tackle. Stanley Jean. This is Andy Lynch. Still Andy Lynch. Bradford looking to end with a flourish, but St Helens determined to keep them out.
Release ball. Go.
Oh, knock on. Wilkin was hunting the interception, nearly came off.
Well, with just over a minute remaining, and you look at the scoreline 38-12, Brian Noble fully aware that this is not going to be 2 points for the table. The first loss of the season. They had the draw against the Harlequins. And Daniel Anderson must feel extremely happy because he has silenced a few of his critics tonight.
Big Carl Price, wide it goes to Harpy, Vinacolo, and Harpy in the corner for Bradford.
Yep, this will be given.
Second try for Harpy. Late consolation for Bradford. And I said that the combination hadn't worked tonight, it just has. Neat work between those two, it always is.
They combined well, as you say, Andy, one of the very few occasions that they've had the opportunity, but isn't it great to see winger and centre do the run around like that? That really was efficiency. Beautiful stuff. Just squeezes in, no doubt about it. Touch Judge was very confident, so was Ashley Klein, but they know it is not going to be a winning bonus tonight. Can he add the two?
Carl Price booms the ball towards the posts, and it just goes in front of them. That will be the last action of this match at Knowsley Road. And St Helens have won by 38 points to 16. A wonderful team performance from the Saints. One of the best games we've seen this season, really, so far. Round 6 of the Super League, and Saints post their intentions. 100% record intact, and Leeds have won at Salford. Well, a magnificent win for St Helens, 38 points to 16. All right, Shontaine Harpy's try in the last minute just took the shine off it a bit, but Kieran Cunningham is the man of the match. We're going to hear from him and his coach, Daniel Anderson. But first, Kieran with Bill.
Kieran, after a bit of a shaky start out there, it just got better, didn't it?
I'm not sure it was a shaky start. You know, it's top of the table clash. It was a big arm wrestle, you know, and I lost Jason Hooper at the back end, and I think we finished strong with the first half, and we come out flying with 12 men in the second half, and you know, we're really proud of that. We're really proud of the character we've got in our camp at the minute.
You've been doing the arm wrestle really well this season, haven't you?
Well, we've got a great coach, and he teaches as well, and you know, our defence is awesome this year, our attack's awesome, so you know, I'm pretty happy to be in a Saints shirt.
Well done on a man of the match performance tonight anyway, Kieran.
Big thanks to Gillette. I could have done with it a few weeks ago. So
the coach is Daniel Anderson, and big raps there. Are you proud of their arm wrestling ability tonight?
Yeah, I was very proud. It was you know, very, very committed performance. Albeit we had to fight with 12 men for a period there.
And to come through like that, to finish so emphatically, must be the pleasing thing.
Well, I guess we've been, sometimes you feel there's a bust-out game possible coming because you are playing well, it's just things aren't working for you. Just tonight was a bit of a bust-out game for us, and we've still got to play a pretty tough team next week, so we'll take the accolades now and get ready for next week.
Thanks, Daniel.
Cheers, Bill.
Wearing his colours on his head, Daniel Anderson. Good win for them, and a good win also for the Leeds Rhinos. 20 points to 12. They have beaten Salford, but a creditable performance from Salford nonetheless. David Hodgson missed 3 conversions, 4 tries to 3 there, and it means that the Leeds Rhinos have now moved into second place, 2 points behind the Saints. Of course, Leeds lost here last month. Bradford down to third. And, well, I wonder what Brian Noble has made of it all. He's the Bradford coach. There he is. He's talking to Bill.
Brian, you can point to the fact that you lost Paul Johnson and Iestyn Harris within the space of a few minutes. Did that really do you a lot of damage?
Well, it doesn't help. It wasn't the reason we lost. You know, I thought we still had enough out there. Obviously, to mix and match, but you know, some of the little things burnt us tonight. You know, and giving away free field position against this team is just suicide, really. But you know, we worked quite good enough, and full credit to Saints. They were better than us in the second half. You know, we talked about that second half and didn't quite come up with what we wanted to. So it's good for us. You know, we've got some things to work on.
Out enthused? I mean, that's the word. Did they do that to you?
I don't know that. Once you're on the back foot against Saints, they can look very, very good, can't they? You know, and a couple of bounce of the balls and drop balls didn't go our way, you know, in relation to who picked them up. But no, you know, I don't think it was enthusiasm. I just think it was, you know, we just dug ourselves a hole and the hole got bigger.
Thanks, Brian.
Pleasure.
Brian Noble, who tomorrow night will be occupying this seat while this fellow is coaching his team, Warrington, against the Catalan Dragons. Impressive Saints tonight.
Very much so. You've got to be at your very, very best to compete with St Helens, let alone beat them, and Bradford weren't tonight. You know, Brian mentioned the loss there of Iestyn Harris and Paul Johnson. I think it hit him a little bit more than Brian alluded to there, because at the top end of the field they ran out of ideas, and the kicking game just wasn't quite good enough. And if you give St Helens free ball, free field position, they're going to sting you at any point in the game from anywhere on the field, and that was very evident tonight.
You know, the other thing, though, about St Helens, really, we've been here before. It's a case of deja vu. This time in the year, they can kill anybody. It's whether they can do that consistently over the course of the season. And although he's excited about Daniel Anderson, I bet he just wants to hold back the horses a little bit, knowing that they've got to do it for the entire year.
I think you've got to also say that, you know, the loss of Iestyn Harris certainly was a blow to the Bradford side, but I must say they are very, very strong, St Helens. The crowd, you know, before this game kicked off said they weren't playing attractive football. Well, they've certainly done that tonight. And Sean Long back to his best. OK, he'll get some ribbing about diving about a metre short of the line where they did knock on, but they were so impressive in the second half, and the bookies yet again making them favourites, and they should be too.
Impressive St Helens. Next, boxing with Friday night fight night, as Kevin Anderson takes on Craig Dixon for the Commonwealth welterweight title. Right now there's golf, the Bay Hill Invitational on Sky Sports 3, and the ATP Masters Tennis from Indian Wells is on Sky Sports Extra. Coming up tomorrow, a double bill of live cricket. India-England, the third test from 4 AM on Sky Sports 2. South Africa-Australia, the first test, day 3, is available via Active from 8:30 AM by pressing the red button on your remote. The Rugby League continues here on Sky Sports. We're in Australia Saturday morning, live. North Queensland against Manly, 10:30 Sky Sports Extra. We'll see Warrington Catalan, 5:45 on Sky Sports 1. That's where Paul Cullen will be tomorrow. That's where